This lens was absolutely designed for broke college students. This is the 7Artisans 25mm f1.8. This specific lens is for the Fuji X-mount system, which is what I mostly own. But if you've got Canon, Sony, or a Micro Four Thirds camera, you'll be good too. So what's good about this lens? Well, first of all, obviously, the price is great. $73, as you saw in the thumbnail, is a very good price for a new lens. In fact, I would call it unbeatable, especially considering the build quality of this lens is really good. This lens has an all-metal build with a really smoothly operating manual focus ring and also aperture ring. And speaking of aperture, the maximum aperture on this, as I mentioned, is f1.8, which is so good for the price. With f1.8, you're gonna get really blurry backgrounds. That's something that is often reserved for higher end lenses. This lens also has the 25mm focal length that has been pretty much made famous by Fuji's X100 line. So getting this for $73, a mere fraction of the cost of any of the X100 cameras, is awesome. Another good thing about this lens is the size. It is very small. You can just pop this onto a camera and it basically disappears. I also appreciate the lens hood for this camera, as it just screws on real easy, looks pretty nice, and the lens cap can still go on with the lens hood on. TT Artisan. Image quality on this lens is also very solid. I notice very little vignetting to the point where I don't even care. And with f1.8, you're going to be able to shoot in pretty low light conditions just fine. The colors on this lens and the sharpness are generally very good. I mean, no one's going to notice when they see your images that this lens was hella cheap. So then what's the catch? Well, it's manual focus only. Just like many vintage lenses that you might adapt to your camera, this does not have autofocus. For me, when I'm just casually shooting, going out doing some street photography or some car photography, this is okay. And as long as you have an electronic viewfinder, or any viewfinder for that matter, on your camera, it's okay. But if you're out in the sunlight and you're trying to focus with this thing with an LCD on the back of your camera and you don't even have focus peaking, you are screwed. With focus peaking, you might be able to do it, but definitely get this for a camera with an EVF. But yeah, that's pretty much the only bad thing about this lens, which is really good considering it's only $73. So then who is this lens for? Well, if you're someone on a tight budget, like me, who wants blurry backgrounds and that low light performance, then this lens is great. It is also pretty stylish, especially on some small silver cameras. I had the Fuji X-A1, which does not have an EVF, which made this lens very painful to use, but on that camera, it looked beautiful. And honestly, even on something like the Fuji X-T1, which I have here in all black, it still looks pretty good. Now, if your camera is all black, it is going to stand out a little bit, and people might look at that if you're doing street photography and you don't want people looking at the lens. Maybe that's not the best. In that case, you could buy the black variant of this lens, both of which are linked down in the description. I would not buy this lens if you need autofocus for the type of shooting you do. Many portrait and event photographers need to nail their shots. So yeah, this lens is awesome for the casual shooter and someone who just wants that kind of vintage lens feel for very cheap and brand new. So that's about it. Thanks for watching, and go buy this lens if you want it.